everybody, Mirrodin Gaming here, and we're back in Elite Dangerous. And in our last episode, we talked about engineering. Now with engineering, to upgrade your different modules, you'll need three different types of materials depending on what you're trying to do. You'll need raw materials, data materials, and manufactured materials. Each one of those has a different way to go about getting the basic materials. There are some more advanced ways for specific things or to get the really rare ones, which I'll do in different videos, but today we're going to be talking about rare materials. So how do you get them? The rare materials are on the planet's surfaces. You go down, land your ship on the planet's surface, on a landable planet, of course, and then you get out your SRV, which is a little kind of rover vehicle, and you search around for them, shoot the outcrops, and collect those materials. And basically, it's a very simple process, but here, I'll show you, you have to know what you're looking for. So let us go to our web browser. So say I have the engineer for increased frame shift drives in general. To get those basic materials, to get the first 2 or 3 levels, you basically just come to the Elite Dangerous fandom wiki, and it will tell you what you need. Well, actually, these need the data one, so I don't need that. We're going over, okay, like here, phosphorus. This one is a raw material, like it says it right here, and basically we have to go find that raw material so that we can do the upgrades. And with everything, you can go ahead and find any of the materials you know you'll need by coming to the website, searching on whatever module you're looking for, and then once you get down to engineering, once I get down far enough, you just select what you want, and it tells you how much you need for each generation of the that specific module. So, saying that, we need to get down onto the planet, so let us show you what you're going to need. Now, there's a couple different components you're going to need, which are very basic. The main 2 things you're going to need are going to be a couple optionals. Your planetary vehicle hangar, which there's 2 different classes. You got class 2 and class 4. Basically, class 2 gives you 1 vehicle, a class 4 gives you 2 vehicles in case you blow up the first one. But you can repair this vehicle while on the surface with the raw materials that you gather. So we don't have to worry about that too much, as long as you're careful. And then the other thing you really want to get is this detailed surface scanner. Because what you can do is you can scan the planet, kind of like I've shown you before when we were doing the exploration video. Check that out if you don't know about it. And we can find planets with geological hotspots. Now, those geological hotspots have the rare, or more likely to have the rare materials in more abundance. And then you can take those to a material trader and trade them for the lower level stuff that you need, and you get a ton of it. Like, one rare material will trade for 27 of the much lower level material. The only other thing you want to really get is, I would say, get a shield, just in case when you're first starting off and you're trying to land on these planets, if you smack into them a little too hard, you will take hull damage unless you have a shield. So I just went with the Bioweave here because it recharges fast. It doesn't require nearly as much money as getting a 3A would be. Alright, the other thing, there's a few core internals that you really want to pay attention to. Your thrusters, in case you get on a planet that has a lot of gravity, this will help you get outside the mass lock easier. Frame shift drive, of course, for jumping around to the different systems to find the planet you need. And then a decent enough power distributor in order to boost away from those planets. And that is pretty much it. And I did say detailed surface scanner here, right? Yeah. Okay. So that is really all you need, because these do not take up cargo space, so you really don't have to have any cargo bays. That being said, the things I'm talking about are over here on your inventory tab on your right side. You have your normal materials, which I have none right now because I have not done any of this, And then you have your data materials, which I have somehow collected some of these, which I don't know how. I don't remember scanning stuff. Well, anyway, we got some. But so basically, this is all your data materials here, and then your raw and your um, manufactured are here. Which, since I don't have any, they're not going to show up. But you can filter out by what you're looking for to see if you have enough of whatever you're trying to get. But that is basically the basics of the uh, what you need for this. So let me go ahead and take off, and I will see if I can find us a planet. And I'll show you how to find the geological hotspots, land the ship there, because I don't think I've shown planet landing yet. And then we'll also give you a slight walkthrough on how to find them if you don't find geological hotspots, but there is a higher chance of the material you're looking for. Oh, speaking of which, let's take a look at that. So what you can do is when you're in a system, you can go to the system map, and if you come over to, I believe it's this tab, yes, and then you mouse over, although I don't think there's any landable planets here. Okay, so this one won't work, but basically if you mouse over a planet, you can look here, and if it was a landable planet, it would give you the readout of what type of materials there are at those planets. Let's see if we can find a close by one. Let's see, I've been through here. Let's see. I don't think I can see the system map. Oh, I can. There we go. System map, come on. Oh, no planets there. Okay. Anyway, give me a few minutes and I will show you what I'm talking about once I actually find a system with planets. So I will be right back. Alright, so I'm having to do a voiceover because for some reason my mic was not recording. But anyway, here we are at a system that I've already detailed surface scanned the planet. I was not lucky enough to find those geological hotspots, but it really doesn't matter. You're going to find them the same way. Basically, you would approach them and land like you were landing at a, whatever you call it, like the settlements where the engineers were at. So very similar, but we don't have auto dock. So I will go ahead and land and show you how you land on a planet's surface. So yeah, they would appear here as like a contact, kind of like the this city right here, and you would just land at them like you would a normal place. All right, so basically it's kind of like landing at the engineer. You have to come in at about a 35-degree angle. You can come in hotter than that if you want to. It's mainly about speed. Rather than angle, and typically the craters actually have some decent amount of rocks, but honestly those are a little bit hard to land in, and then once you're there sometimes it's hard to get out of them in your SRV, which is your landing vehicle. One thing I forgot to mention would be yep, and yeah, here I was checking out to see, I couldn't remember if I had managed to purchase a SRV or not. Because apparently, which we'll find out in just a minute when I go to try to deploy it, that I did not purchase an SRV to put in the vehicle hangar. So with planetary vehicle hangars and fighter hangars, you actually have to, there's a slot once you purchase the module, then you have to go down and purchase the individual vehicles. Which with fighters, there's multiple different ones depending on what you're looking for, and then with the SRVs, there's only one type right now. I suspect they'll probably do some different ones. But anyway, it's the same as landing at the normal, at the engineers. You just try to come in at a 30 to 25-degree angle until it stops gliding. It will get you closer and closer, and it stops about 7 kilometers from the planet's surface. And this is why you want a shield, because if you're coming in too hot, especially if it's a higher gravity and you can't slow down in time, you'll hit the thing. And of course the shield saves you from hull damage. And then if you notice on the right side of where my reticle is at, you've got that, angle. And then it also gives you the readout of how close you're getting. And once you get under, I want to say it's like 5, it starts doing a that meter where it shows it going slowly down until we get to past kilometers to actual kilometers. And then what you want to do is use your thrusters, so make sure you have those mapped. Once you get to about 200 or so, and then of course also put out your landing gear. And then in the little radar below me, you can see where it's red. That means it's not a good landing spot. So I have to play around with my forward and back thrusters until I found one that lights up blue, which I'm almost there. Right there. Oh, nope, there we go. And then you basically have to align your ship with, it's not actually the horizon, you have to make sure you're aligned with the actual planet's surface. So if you're landing on the side of a hill, you of course it'll look off like it's doing now with the horizon. And then that is pretty much what it takes, and then I think I'm going to show you how to find the actual materials real quick. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to go over to System Map. Alright, so basically if you mouse over one of the worlds, if you see the little blue circle around the planets, that means it's a landable planet. And then if it has those 3 little bars on that circle, that means there's settlements there. So yeah, so now if I select the actual planet we're at, come up to the second tab and we go down to the bottom, it shows you how much and what type of materials there are. So of course the higher percentages means whenever you're searching for them you have a higher percentage chance of finding that. And then these 3 down here in the bottom that are less than 2%, they can sometimes be up to 3%. Those are those super rare ones. Those are the ones that you can trade one of those for a lot of the lower level ones like the iron, the nickel, the carbon. But yeah, that is basically how you find what you're looking for. Like this one has phosphorus that we were needing for our frame shift drive. And that is pretty much all you need to know. It also has gravity and all that other good stuff on that tab as well. And here's where I notice it says empty there. And yeah. So I'm going to have to go back to the, there is a starbase orbiting this planet, so I'll just run up there real quick and grab an SRV and come right back in just a few seconds for you, but several minutes for me. Alright, anyway, I'll see you in just a bit. Alright, so through the magic of editing, I went back to the local starbase and picked up that SRV, so we select it here and hit deploy, and it should transfer us down to our SRV. Now, the controls for this are a little bit different. You pretty much have a throttle always on or always off. You don't have like thrusters with this. Another thing you have is lights with your L key default, and then your N key is night vision if you need it, because sometimes you'll be on the dark side of the planet. So, let me move outside of here a little ways out into the sun. Alright, so the way this works and the way you find materials is you see that little radar kind of scanning around. Depending on where it's at on that radar, you see the little pieces that light up that are closer to us. That means it's a raw material. Midway, I think, is like crash ships and stuff, and then if it's on the far outer edge, that is, or is that how far it is away? It's been forever since I've done it. I normally go to geological hotspots, but basically, the wider the band is left to right, that means it's further away. It will get closer as, or bigger and closer as we get closer to it. So there's something out this direction if you can kind of see it. And honestly, this is one of the things you just have to get out there and try it and find what that is. And of course, we also, I forgot to mention, we have jump jets. So with the spacebar, You can jump over these larger rocks so that you don't take damage. And then we just keep heading towards, you see now it's starting to narrow out right here, so I have to turn a little bit to keep that in my center. And then down below that little sweeping radar, we have our vehicle radar, and it'll light up with a little white spot, kind of like in whenever you're doing like combat and whatnot, and you're in your ship. So we just keep heading towards this one that looks like it's going to be. Yep, see, look, it's getting smaller and smaller. That little scan that's directly in front of us, that's close to us, and it will eventually, a little white dot will appear on my normal radar. So it's getting closer. So every time it gets more solid and closer together, that means we are finding some materials. So it should be barely, but there it is. Okay, see the little gray box? So now I just target it, and see now it's appeared on our little radar. So that is basically all you have to do when you're looking for materials. And then once I get close enough, what I can do is I can target it, and then you have to use your mouse for this. At least for me, I do. That's the default. You have a turret that you can target and shoot it with. You also have the ability, using the U key, to go into your turret mode to have a little bit more fine tuning. And see, look. Okay, you see those little rocks that broke off of it? That's the material. So now I have to open my cargo hatch by hitting the home key. Is the default for me. And now I can move a little bit closer, and then they should start appearing with the little gray boxes around them. See, look, there's one. You can also, hold on, let me stop. You can also look under your contacts, and it shows you what there is. So we've got some iron, some manganese, some carbon, and some nickel. You literally just target them, and with your cargo hatch out, target it again, you just run over it just like you're doing when you were mining. But the good thing about this compared to the mining, each one of those is 3 total of that material. So let me go ahead and grab all of these, because I'm going to need them all. And there's typically three different types. You have, depending on the type of planet it is, there's like rare outcroppings. And there we go. Okay, so let me stop. Alright, so now if I go to my inventory over here, look, now we've got 3 of each of these. And depending on how rare they are, you should have more, well, actually, it'll be once I actually get back to my ship, I would have more. Your SRV can only carry 100 of each, so you're kind of limited to that. One other thing I want to mention, if I get away from that, is if you're traveling a long ways and your ship is really far away, what you can do is you come down to this 3, you select this, and you can do dismiss ship. So what this does is it makes the ship go back into orbit, and it will, and whenever you call it back, it will come land near you. So you can see it on my radar flying off. So once it finishes departing, it's going to take a minute though. So, but yeah, once it comes back, I'll show you how you land back on the thing. Okay, I think that's probably long enough. Let's look now. Recall ship. That's it. That way, if you're really far away, you don't have to drive all the way back to the ship. You can just recall it to yourself. It'll take a few seconds. Let's see if we can look around and see when it comes in. There it is. Okay, so now I just have to turn around. And the way these work is you have to approach the ship from the rear typically, at least on the smaller ships. The larger ships you can probably drive under the front as well. But you're looking, there'll be like a little kind of box kind of floating down from it, like a light box. And you basically just have to park under it. You have to get close enough, and I need to put up my cargo scoop so I don't catch it on rocks. But yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot to show y'all what this thing actually looks like. So let us Can I get this to work? So this is your SRV, and that is me. Selfie. Wait for the camera. Anyway, yeah, so this is what the SRV is. You got your little rocket pods on the side and your turret on top. 6-wheel drive. Or actually, no, I think it's... Is it rear-wheel drive and front steer, or front-wheel drive and rear steer? Oh yeah, it's all steer. Yeah, that's why you can actually spin this out pretty easily because of the rear and the front steering. But anyway, that is what it looks like, and of course you can get paint jobs for that, just like you can your ship. On my main account, I have one. If you're familiar with the game or the movie Tron, that has like the wheels have that outer light up spot and neon color. It's really cool. But for this one, of course, I have not played long enough, which you can buy those paint jobs just like you can with the arcs. So yeah. Okay, you can see kind of under the ship there's those little light box lighting up. So let me get around, back, slow down. Okay, so basically what you have to do, let me really slow down, is you have to line yourself up in the center of this box, and it will give you the icon to board the ship once you're lined up with it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let me make sure I'm stopped. You go back down to your 3, select your scarab, and you can transfer cargo if you picked up normal cargo, which I haven't, because you can carry up to 2. And then the other thing you can do is board your ship, and it will suck you back up into it. It's got like magnets or something, and it pulls you back into the ship and will transfer you back to your cockpit. So the final little thing I have to talk about is how do you take off? Well, you don't just put your throttle up. See, look, I'm doing my throttle. It does nothing. You have to use your up thruster to start your engine, just like in NASCAR. Gentlemen, start your engines. And then you can take off. And that is pretty much, and don't forget to put up your landing gear, that is pretty much all you have to do to gather rare materials. And of course, depending on how lucky you can get some rare ones that you can either trade or use for the higher level engineering. But the geological hotspots are really the place to go if you can find them, get the material you want. But anyway, this is Beardy Gaming. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell notification icon so you get to see all my videos. I am doing 2 Minecraft series right now, although that may go up to 3 Minecraft series because I got another invitation to another server that they're looking for content creators. So we may jump over to that one. Then we're also doing Medieval Dynasty, the city building survival medieval game. Borderlands 3 Commons Only challenge right now. We're going to do a few more builds though, and then of course Elite Dangerous, which is my absolute favorite game. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, this is Meriden Gaming, and I'll see you in space.